Good day to Dr. Ali Nizarpour and friends from the Global Logistics module. I am Aftar, and together with my teammates Joe, Fendi, Janice, and Daniel, we will share our findings on our chosen company, Reconext. We will be elaborating on 1. The logistics management issues that they are currently facing, 2. The impact of these issues on Reconext's performance, and 3. What our group thinks are the operations management level recommendations Reconext could adopt to improve their performance. Now, just a little background on Reconext. Reconext is a company that's about 40 years old and was founded as a TV repair shop in Germany in 1983. From there, Reconext slowly branched out to other related fields in the electronics business before deciding to specialize in the relatively niche role of reprocessing electronic devices. Reconext aims to provide sustainable and friendly environmental solutions pertaining to electronic waste management. Currently, Reconext has established itself as an international company with a presence in Europe, the Asia Pacific, and the Americas, and is headquartered in Texas, USA. Reconext, like many companies out there, has to deal with several logistics management issues that hinder its performance. We will, however, only be covering the top 3 issues, which are 1. Inefficient inventory management, 2. Order fulfillment challenges, and 3. Quality control issues. Of these, the first issue of inefficient inventory management is also global in nature. On that note, I will hand over the presentation to my teammate Joe, who will present our findings in the area of inefficient inventory management. Over to you, Joe.
Thank you, Atta. Hello, everyone. I'm Joe. Inefficient inventory management is the biggest issue faced by Reconext. In the context of Reconext, inventory management is classified as, firstly, the inability to locate finished goods at the storage locations. This was usually due to the misplace of the product at the wrong shelf, row, or worse still, wrong floor. Secondly, not having enough raw materials to support production loading. In turn, this is the result of several other factors, namely, a breakdown in communication between Reconext planning, marketing, production, and procurement teams. Basically, a case of the right hand not talking to the left hand. B, a decommitment of the delivery schedule by the global supplier. This refers to a supplier who initially commit to a delivery but have to backpanel and default on his commitment due to unforeseen challenges on his end. And C, a global shortage of materials during the COVID-19 pandemic, where supply lines came worldwide to a virtual standstill. Of course, today, in the post-pandemic world, this is a recovering issue. However, Reconext is still feeling its effects because on a global stage, the consumption market for electronic products have dived, and it has yet to stabilize and match itself to a pre-pandemic levels. And thirdly, the aging and non-moving inventory for finished goods and raw materials. Broadly, this happened for 2 reasons. A, there ceased to be a demand for obsolete products and materials. For example, some models of handphones and laptops that were popular before the pandemic has almost zero value in the post-pandemic market today. B, to a lesser extent, this effect can also brought about where a surplus stock failed to meet self-imposed MOQ limitation. This became an issue when the small quantity of items are not registered, and there is a build-up of many small piles of items, and collectively they end up consuming large volumes of warehousing space. With that, I move on to elaborate on the impact this issue has on Reconext's performance. There are 3 broad impacts brought about by the issue of inefficient inventory management. In order of severity, firstly, this leads to customer escalation. No customer wants to hear that their delivery is delayed. An unhappy customer may require a more senior or experienced staff, like the manager, to come in to handle the customer grievances. Needless to say, this dilutes Reconext's image and reputation, and worse, if not appropriately managed, could lead to cases where the customer take their business to the competitors. This not only depriving Reconext of income, but also feeding their competitors instead. Secondly, with inadequate or incorrect types of raw materials to work with, Reconext recycling equipment and department are not utilized fully. Conversely, to ensure they are optimally run or to clear backlogs, ad hoc procurements of additional resources need to be made. Both of these efforts increase Reconext production costs. Thirdly, to a small extent, the non-moving inventory contribute to additional transportation, storage, and handling costs, and of course, erosion on the net profit margins due to the higher quantity of asset on hand. On that note, I conclude and hand over the presentation over to my teammate Fendi, who will elaborate on the recommendation for improving inventory management. Thank you. Over to you, Fendi.
Thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone. Fendi here. In the area of recommendation, there are 6 things our team opines Reconext can do. Firstly, Reconext should organize and segregate the bin location by stock keeping units, something they do not currently adopt. Secondly, the conduct of regular scheduled physical inventory checks would serve to establish system discipline and inventory integrity. Thirdly, the various Reconext departments should meet on a scheduled basis to hot sync their plans for non-moving inventory. Fourthly, Reconext should preemptively cater buffer stocks for critical materials or materials that require a long lead time for delivery, so they are not put in a position where they have to act reactively. Fifthly, instead of distant suppliers, Reconext might benefit by leveraging local or nearshore suppliers with proven track records. Their geographical proximity will translate to a better turnaround time and control. 6. Reconext could work with engineering or similarly organized departments to repurpose aging stock or non-moving finished goods and materials into sellable products. That concludes my team sharing with the first management issues of inefficient inventory management. I will now comment on the second issue of order fulfillment challenges. Order fulfillment challenges are the second biggest issue faced by Reconext. In the context of Reconext, order fulfillment challenges are characterized as, firstly, the late delivery of products to customers. This is mainly brought about by the latency in the pick and place process, meaning the system says a specific item is currently sitting at location A. However, the item is not there when you go to location A. It is either still being transported to location A or was dropped off at a location B instead. The current non-automated method of fulfilling orders also delays the deliveries. Dispatch orders are issued by email and the item will not be delivered until the supervisors open the email and then task someone to perform the dispatch. Secondly, the high occurrence of stockout brought about A, the need to clear backlogs of order, B, the imbalanced mix of materials, meaning Reconext have high inventory of low runner items and conversely, a low inventory of high runner items. C is a lack of loading capacity where a customer ordered 800 quantities of one item and 200 quantities of item 2. However, Reconext only have 500 of each item on hand and cannot top up the shortfall for item 2 with the surplus in item 1. I will move on to elaborate on the impact these issues have on Reconext's performance. There are 4 broad impacts brought about by the issue of order fulfillment challenges. These are, firstly, the reduce of customer satisfaction and potential loss of business where our customers will take their business elsewhere. Secondly, Reconext have to undertake additional expenses to expedite late shipment to customers. Thirdly, by not getting their house in order, Reconext cannot capitalize on incoming opportunities during peak season. Fourthly, by not delivering on time, Reconext has to expend additional resources like salary and utilize them to clear their backlogs and in doing so, directly increase their operational costs. On that note, I conclude and hand the presentation over to my teammate Janice, who will elaborate on the recommendation for improving order fulfillment. Thank you. Over to you, Janice.
Thank you, Fendi. Hello, everyone. Janice here. Regarding recommendations, there are 4 things our team's opine Reconext can do. Firstly, Reconext should optimize its pick and place efficiency by rezoning high runner products nearer to the fulfillment operations or slower or non-moving items further away. Secondly, Reconext should enhance the effectiveness of its operations by pre-packing high runners product based on the historical data. Thirdly, Reconext should integrate an automate system between its ordering, fulfillment, and warehousing operations and process to the benefit its overall efficiency, turnaround times, and accuracy. Fourthly and lastly, Reconext should consider meeting up and collaborating with clients to forecast plans in areas of capacity planning, demand, and loading processes. That concludes my team sharing with the second logistic management issue of order fulfillment challenges. I will now comment on the third identified issue of quality control. Quality control challenges are the next biggest issue faced by Reconext. In the context of Reconext, quality control challenges are categorized as delivery errors to customers in terms of type, qualities, quantity, or locations. These errors happen for a variety of reasons. In the case of Reconext, the occurrence of these errors can be attributed to three things that are correlated. Firstly, insufficient quality checks for incoming and outgoing items. These checks are currently performed by staff on the ground. Secondly, the physical checks on the ground are manually intensive and susceptible to human errors. Thirdly, the underlying contributing issue is the lack of staff training and know how to perform these tasks to the requirement standards. This is because there is no structured training programs or syllabus to level up to the staff, and there is not even a pictorial reference guide. On that note, I conclude and hand the presentation over to my teammates, Daniel, who will elaborate on the impact of this issue have on Reconext's performance.
Thank you, Janice. Hello everyone, Daniel here. There are two broad impacts brought about by the issue of quality control. These are, number one, firstly, customer escalation. To reiterate what was shared previously, besides diluting Reconext's image and reputation, a poorly managed customer can result in a loss of business and a potential rival or competitor gaining that loss of business. So this is a double impact scenario that every company, including Reconext, must strive to avoid. Secondly, by delivering a product that does not meet their client's requirements or has technical faults, Reconext will be obligated to recall the product. As service recovery, they will need to redeliver the product in an expedited manner. And naturally, they will incur unnecessary expenses in terms of cost and resources that could have been avoided. With that, I will move on to elaborate on the appropriate recommendations to overcome this issue. Area of recommendations, there are 4 things our team opines Reconext can do. Firstly, Reconext should centrally conduct routine training for all staff. These standardized trainings would serve as experimental training for junior staff and as refresher training for more experienced staff. Secondly, Reconext should augment their staff efforts to avoid wrong shipment situations by utilizing technology to enhance the outgoing quality inspection process and ensure that there is a match between shipping documentation and physical information. Thirdly, Reconext should implement quality assurance inspection for all incoming stock using a standardized checklist to ensure all material comply with requirements. Fourthly and lastly, Reconext should foster better client working relations through regular engagement and site visits to see how to best match client operations by delivering improved material quality. With that, I close our group's sharing on Reconext and will move on to bring this presentation to a conclusion. To conclude, Reconext is no different from other companies. It is safe to say that the operations of all companies, regardless of their core business, are hampered by logistical management issues. In the case of Reconext, we've identified the 3 main issues to be number 1, inefficient inventory management, and number 2, order fulfillment challenges, and number 3, quality control issues. Reconext can improve its efficiency, reduce lead times, enhance customer satisfaction, and protect its reputation by adopting the recommended improvements. Needless to say, these recommendations all come with their own initial implementation and operational costs. Reconext ought to assess the ROI, applicability, and long-term sustainability of implementing these proposed enhancements and balance them against their intimate appreciation of their company's inner workings. On that note, Our team concludes our presentation. Thank you very much.